Just when you thought it was safe to go back into the church pews, Reverend Jeremiah Wright shows up again. Speaking at a funeral in Chicago, Barack Obama's former pastor says he loves all people, but some others do not.
Fox News can't understand that. O'Reilly will never get that. Sean Hannity's stupid vanity will keep him forever stuck on stupid when it comes to comprehending how you can love a brother who does not believe what you believe. But the judge's faith was a faith in God who loved the whole world, not just one country or one creed.
Now, call me crazy, but I personally didn't feel a lot of love coming from Reverend Wright or the crowd. Also, I have no idea what his beef is. Joining me now from Harrisburg to educate me, Dr. Marc Lamont Hill, who teaches at Temple University, and from Chicago, attorney Stephen Greenberg, who knew the man eulogized by Reverend Wright, Eugene Pincham. All right, Doc, we'll begin with you. I mean, come on, now what's the beef? Will you just tell me what the beef is? I'm not getting it.
Well, first of all, I'm surprised you didn't feel the love. I could feel the love reverberating
Yeah,
through the speakers. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's just my perspective. But I think he's right here, Bill. You know, he wasn't just talking about the Jeremiah Wright controversy. He was making a broader critique of the type of chauvinistic, Manichaean sort of distinctions that many people make between people who love America and people hate it. If you critique America, you don't love it. You know, that's what he was talking about. And Bill, I have heard you say in the past that certain people don't love America, and oftentimes those are people who are your ideological opponents.
Well,
so I think that's what he's speaking
I don't
to.
say they don't love America. And I said quite clearly that Reverend Wright was anti-American in his remarks when he equated the United States with Al-Qaeda, put them on the same level. And you know, Doc, if you want to argue that, well, you can argue it all day long, but it's ridiculous, it's absurd, and it's an anti-American comment. My job's to tell the truth. But be that as it may,
I would argue the comparison is.
Okay, yeah, and look, you can justify it or rationalize it all day long. We parsed this for 3 weeks. But in this little...
That's his point. That's his point, Bill,
yeah,
that we
no,
parsed
his
it for
point
3
is
weeks.
that I don't understand that he somehow is loving everybody by saying that the United States is like Al-Qaeda. Yeah, he's right. I don't understand that.
Though. He never said that,
yeah,
though. That's the point. He's saying he loves America enough to tell it the truth about itself, even when it's wrong. He loves America enough
that Al-Qaeda and the United States are the moral equivalent.
But he never said that. You're the only one saying that. The only person who's ever said that is you. He didn't say they're moral equivalents. He said that America's chickens have come home to roost because of problematic foreign policy.
He said flat out, there's no difference between what Al-Qaeda does in the name of their God and what we do in the name of
our...
He
never said that.
Yes, he did. In the Hiroshima and Nagasaki remarks, he said exactly that.
Al-Qaeda wasn't responsible for Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
No, we were, and he's saying that what they did on 9/11 was what we did on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. That's what he said. That's exactly what he said.
He's doing what all Christians do, and he's advocating global peace. He's saying that when you put out war, war comes back. When you put out violence, violence comes back. That's the same argument that Martin Luther King made. That's the same argument that Gandhi made. Thank you for taking that seriously.
Yeah, okay, Doc. Now, isn't it true that every time Reverend Wright shows up, Barack Obama loses 5 points? Isn't that true? Shouldn't somebody say, hey, Reverend, can you just take a vacation till next November?
The more we talk, the more we reach consensus. This is definitely a bad move for Barack Obama.
Okay.
I mean,
he can't control the guy. He can't control the guy. It's not Barack Obama's fault. I'm sure somebody's whispered to Jeremiah Wright's ear, hey, maybe you want to take it easy, but Wright's going to do what he wants. Now, Counsel, you know, or you knew, Judge Eugene Pincham, who was eulogized by Reverend Wright, and would you think that the judge would want this kind of a presentation at his funeral?
The judge was eulogized by many people at that service, and all of them praised him. What Reverend Wright did, though, was take advantage of the time he had on the pulpit there to expand his 15 minutes of fame. Hence, we'll talk about him longer. I don't think this is what the judge would have wanted. The judge was about including people. He devoted his life to the downtrodden, to providing for justice, to fighting the fight for those who were less fortunate. For everybody. He didn't draw a distinction. Although he was African American and many of his efforts were in the African American community, his real focus was about making sure that this remained a country of opportunity and fairness for everybody. And I don't think that he would have appreciated Reverend Wright taking the opportunity to get on the pulpit there and expand his 15 minutes of fame.
How long did you know the judge? Did you know him very well?
I knew the judge for 20 years. He was a guy you could go to with any question. Wow. He had unlimited time for anybody to help anybody out. From people on the street he would help out, to young lawyers, as I once was, he would help out, to judges who would go to him.
Now, I just want to make sure that you know what you're saying here, Counselor. You're calling Wright a grandstander. You're saying that he used an occasion inappropriately to bring attention to himself. Do you really want to say that?
That's my opinion. Now, I'm a Barack Obama supporter, and I would love to see this guy just go away, or I would love to see Barack Obama just denounce these viewpoints. But on the other hand, I think that we also should admire him for not saying, I'm just cutting and running from someone because I maybe disagree with his views.
As I told Dr. Hill, people can make up their own mind about Reverend Wright and Obama's participation in Wright's life or vice versa. But I think we all agree that every time Reverend Wright shows up, it ain't good. It's not a good day for Barack Obama. Yeah, it's just not a good day.
But Bill, he doesn't just show up through Reverend Wright. He also shows up through Fox News because, I mean, it could be a weather report and we're showing, you know, Jeremiah Wright's comments.
I didn't have him on the docket until he did this. I didn't have him today. He wasn't on my rundown today. He did it.
I'm not talking about today, though. What I'm saying is part of Jeremiah Wright's critique is that we have been running this ad nauseum as a means to divide and conquer the American people.
We're ready to move on to Hillary Clinton being Annie Oakley and Barack Obama not liking the guys who go to church. We're willing to move on to that.
That's fair and balanced, Bill.
The 15 minutes is up. The 15 minutes is up.
First, if there's one thing wrong, if there's one thing wrong here, it was reporters sneaking into a funeral in the first place. Black churches have always been about politics as well. There was nothing wrong with him giving that speech.
All right. Gentlemen, always good to see you both. Thank